Starfleet Underground. Every week, we'll take a look at the latest Star Trek news and then check out a current or classic episode of Star Trek. Hoshi gets a slug. The targeting system gets aligned. Phlox lives his life National Geographic style. Archer goes boldly into breaking and entering. And eventually, Hoshi knows exactly just what to say. Don't misplace that skip intro button because it's been a long road getting from there to here.
Telling Patrick not to eat Cheetos naked. And now all the Cheeto dust gets in his lap and the Tribble's latched on and we can't get him off of it. None of the medical and sick bay can get the Tribbles off his crotch because of the Cheeto dust.
They need to put warning labels on those bags.
I'm serious. He sat there and ate him naked in his quarters and left the Tribbles latched on. We couldn't stun him off because of his woo-ha. So
I wish you would stop doing that after the shower because the Cheetos like dye and cheese and seasonings and mixing all that. It mixes with the water. And then you walk in. Yeah, it looks like his apartment is basically a cheetah.
It's really nasty. So thanks for your sister being willing to take him over to Starfleet Medical to get over there because he was being a big baby. Didn't want to go by himself because he was worried that his Wonder Worm was going to get cut off when they took the Tribbles off. So, holy crap, we're on.
We are on, sir.
Okay.
Oh my God.
So all of his medical stuff is right out there. Okay, well, let's get started. Welcome, everyone, for joining us here at Starfleet Underground. We are the podcast that's being brought to you by Section 31. And I'm sure they're going to love to hear that Patrick news that it's out there. We are the podcast, and we are mostly always cloaked. So I am, of course, your captain here for this hour or so voyage, Nathan Adams, and we have our wonderful science officer.
Hi, I'm Heather Ferris. I'm the science officer. And oh my God, I didn't realize I was recording. I can't believe I said that about Patrick.
Yeah, he's when he comes back, if he happens to listen in the waiting room, he's going to have something to say next week. But if he doesn't, shh, nobody say anything.
Mum's the word.
That's for sure. And we also have our wonderful engineer.
Mum's the word, because that's what the Tribbles were saying as they were taking care of the Cheeto dust off of him. They were going, hum, 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 hum. Hi, everybody. I'm Rocky. I'm the engineer for the show and for our ship. If the lights aren't working, it's my fault.
Pretty much. But, you keep the ship running really well. And despite the power requirements of always being cloaked, somehow you squeeze it out. And so it's greatly appreciated on that.
Plenty of power down here.
Yeah. Now, since our computer person is not here, he's getting personal stuff done. I'll leave it at that, unless you didn't hear the first part of the broadcast. I checked the console, and it looks like...
Except for the one thing from the Yum Yum podcast, joking about the alleged brother that Worf has, that we joke about that back and forth a little bit here and there. No, nothing came in through my console.
Yeah, I just looked. It looks like there's no real big corrections. Anybody else?
Nope. I just got a letter from the cleaning crew saying that they're not happy about cleaning Patrick's quarters.
Yeah.
Apparently, he was really, really, really into Cheetos, more than we knew.
And that explains how sometimes I go by and I hear these sucking noises that he likes to do. And I thought because he had a date, but it's really licking the Cheeto dust off his fingers.
I thought he had orange-looking fingers a lot more often than normal.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I didn't know what that was. Maybe a new boyfriend or something? Someone who liked a suntan dye or something?
It's possible either that or he liked orange taint. I don't know.
That's the drink the astronauts have, right?
Yes, it is. Drink of champions. But gladly, we don't have any corrections. So that means we're just about almost flawless again. How? That moves us over to the news. A little trivia for you. The word news actually came from directions on Earth when people wanted to find out what was happening north, east, west, and south. And we'll put those together and they spell news. So from information from all over the place. They would come and say, hey, what's going on in the north, the west, the east, the west, and the south?
You don't have to spell it correctly to know what it is.
Yes, it's all the news. So that's how that happened. So any news?
Oh my God, my mind was just blown.
This is a bit of a big thing to drop at this early in the morning.
I know, seriously.
You see, that's what captains are for, to have a bunch of useless information that does nobody any good, but it's just something to know.
Well, I guess I'll start off with the news. This is the 25th year anniversary for our most loved episode, Star Trek Voyager, Threshold. Everyone loves that.
Woo!
It was aired January 29th, 1996.
Back in 96.
Is that with the lizard sex?
That's with the lizard sex.
And the warp speed breaking.
Bound chicka wow wow. Well, yeah, but that was like a minor part.
It was a huge part.
Everyone was
sure. I mean, they got it on. Yeah.
Paris and Janeway had sex.
And Janeway took advantage of the situation. It wasn't Paris.
She
did it. Yes.
And they have little babies somewhere.
Little threshold babies.
Little lizard
babies with the Starfleet logo.
Is that where the Jem'Hadar came from?
Oh. Probably a distant cousin.
Oh, I love it.
I wonder, because they're supposed to have been manufactured from lizards. So
there you go.
It's possible. So who knows? And the Ketracel White is part of maybe their addiction to Janeway's addiction to coffee.
Well, I see that. Yeah, that makes sense now.
That explains some things.
Whoa.
Things that make you go, Any other news you got here for us, Heather?
Nope. That was it for me.
And how about you, Rocky?
Oh, well, I've been watching the old network, and the 55-year mission tour at Las Vegas has added a few more guests. They keep adding guests every week. They're like, oh, we're going to get this one, and we're going to get this one, and we're going to get that one. It's in August, the 11th through the 15th, so mark your calendars, and please get your vaccines before you go. That's not them saying that. That's me saying that. But anyway, they added Roxann Dawson, Armin Shimerman, and Kitty Swink.
Oh, how cool is that?
Woo, woo.
Yeah.
That's friggin' cool.
And if you don't recognize the names, we're talking about B'Elanna, Quark, and Kitty played a lot of people, right?
Yeah. I can't even go off the top of my head all the characters because it's early.
Let's see. Laron and Minister Roxann in Deep Space Nine, according to the notes here. But yeah, one of the actresses that played, people on the show.
That's friggin' cool. And I guess the little bit of news that I would have is that next season on Discovery, it's going to be the first time in Star Trek history that there's going to be an all-female bridge crew.
Woo! Yay!
So that's going to be friggin' awesome. And personally, it's about time because we all know women get things done.
I mean, why not? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Women can take charge and get it done. That's it. We like it when that happens.
So excited.
It's a wonder that women don't take over the world because they are known to have higher pain threshold than men. They're known to be more able to look at situations from different angles, to be more nurturing and more growing.
And so they look better when they do it.
Yes.
And they have empathy, whereas some guys don't.
Yes, and it's easy to disdirect to the attention span of any guy if they want to do something. The only thing they do is flash him, and while the guy sits there befuddled, they can kill him. So,
is that how Cyber got her position?
That's how you take. Yeah, that's moving up the ladder.
There you go.
It's like, look at these. Whoa, bang.
What's that? That's the sound of the glass crashing.
Yes.
The ceiling, the glass ceiling, just gone. Yeah.
So it's going to be awesome to see an all-female bridge crew. And I know it's not going to be stereotypical because before, anytime sci-fi had an all-female anything, they always have them dressed in slutty clothes and always doing this light gauge. And Star Trek, the original series, was famous for using gauze over the lens whenever they show the woman to make her look like she's glowy.
Yeah.
Oh, and the lighting, the special lighting. I always love the little lighting because I've never seen lighting like that in any other show except Star Trek.
No, they always did that. And they always wanted to highlight when Kirk was being pensive, the light was always in his eyes.
Yeah.
The light always showed. So it's like, okay. But, it's production value. So now that we've got all of our homework, so to speak, out of the way and the news of the week out of the way, this is the part where I actually get all giggly and tingly. Heather, it's your turn.
Cool. Okay, so this week we are doing Star Trek Enterprise Season 1, Episode 3, Fight or Flight. It first aired October 3rd, 2001. Teaser, soft sucking.
What?
What?
Soft sucking.
Soft, gentle, hard, whatever. Go for it.
You're definitely not talking about Patrick.
Hoshi sensually tongues the worm, but it doesn't rise to the occasion. That's when we learn that this disappointing performance was the worm's first contact with humans.
So you're saying the worm couldn't get it up
The worm couldn't get it up.
on its first try.
Sensually.
It's just, patience, worm. Give it the second try. You'll get there.
She was tonguing it like crazy. She was trying all sorts of techniques.
I just love that, who's going to bring back a weird alien thing from some planet? It's going to be Hoshi, and she brings back a little slug. I just thought that was really just, nobody brought back a space puppy. They brought back a slug. I thought it was kind of cute.
And Dr. Phlox is being Dr. Phlox is always, he's a voyeur. Can I watch?
Yes, he is.
He wants to throw the worm to his bat.
Yeah, he's like, bat food.
Yeah, it's like, it's not moving. We'll just give it to my bat.
But and it doesn't. He doesn't need to feed it anything dead. It's got to be a live thing. So the bat prefers live food. So the clock was ticking for the slug.
Poor Hoshi's all like sad, and she's like, "I regret taking him. We should have left him."
And the worm was under so much pressure to perform.
That happens sometimes.
Don't you hate it?
I love the close-up shot right at the end of it with Trip and Hoshi just right next to each other. The size of this cage is not that big, and the slug's only so big. And they got to get that cute little shot where they both look at it. And they are so close together, their heads. That was like, how did they frame that shot? Because that must have been so uncomfortably close.
I imagine, for personal space invasion.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah, that was weird. I do get a kick, however, every time I see Dr. Phlox on screen. His character is so matter of fact and at the same time just enjoying life. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Thumbs up the Phlox.
Yeah, it's not you get your crotchety doc like on Lower Decks or Bones. Also,
yeah, he's not grumpy. He's always happy.
No, yeah, and you don't see many happy docs. Even Beverly on TNG wasn't exactly full of happiness and joy either. She was more matter of fact.
Yeah, she was never getting any except when she went to visit the ghost.
Yeah, or when she got drunk and she went to Picard.
Oh yeah, they had that the drunk sex. Yeah.
Well, the Voyager doctor, he was like comic relief and everything, and then I feel like that's what they did with this doctor. It's like our comic relief.
Yeah, they had a right formula right there. It was great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, the doctor on Voyager took himself too seriously, but because of that, he was comic relief. Whereas Phlox is just like, fuck all y'all. I enjoy everything.
Phlox was in it for the whole experience.
Yeah, he was. Okay, what's our next section?
Well, before we go on, I just have to say the teaser, it went fast, and before I knew it, that fucking song started playing, and it was so fast. And I ran and I tried to hit the skip intro, but by the time I finally came over here to hit the skip intro, it was already, it's been a long road. And I'm like, fuck you, skip. And now I have that song stuck in my head.
If you don't do it quickly enough, Netflix makes the skip button go away. What the fuck? You find the remote and you're like, oh shit, because I'm sitting on the remote somewhere. Where is it? And you find it and like, oh, here it's under the cover, under the other pillow, and you pick it up. You click it and there's nothing happening. Like, where'd it go?
Because it was already gone. Yeah, so I had to pause, and then I had to mute it because I was not listening to that freaking song anymore. And then I had to try to find my way through. And
I have to say though, as a musician who recently picked up an old instrument and was looking for something to play, I was like, I'll play the Star Trek themes. They're fun. Some of them are very difficult to play, especially to get your fingers in the right places. But this one is actually incredibly easy to play because it's a song. So it's actually sung. The melody is just a bunch of words. It's more about the words than the melody. And it's a lot easier to play.
The Enterprise song?
Well, I like fingering many songs, but this one was pretty easy. I'm just, be that what it was.
So in other words, Heather, you're saying that when this song started, it took you a long time to get from there to here?
Oh my God.
Her worm did not get excited about the song.
No, my worm went flat.
Okay.
Soft and then
almost fed to a bat.
Okay,
we can move on to the next now that you got your vents out of the way.
Right. Okay, Act 1. Wasting time. Archer is hearing things under the floorboard and insists on tearing them up. Maybe he should consult Poe about that. The Enterprise decides to drop out of warp and do a little target practice in order to recalibrate their targeting systems. In the mess hall, over lunch, the Doctor discloses to Trip that he is a voyeur who wants to watch people have sex. T'Pol sees something big on the sensors and the boys insist on having a look. Curiosity killed the cat. That's when the Enterprise finds a ship minding its own business, and the first thought they have is to break an entering, go inside, and say hi to the inhabitants. This isn't going to end well.
What I liked is where first off, again, Phlox showing he's a voyeur. Just people watch. It's like those two are going to get it on. I wonder if I can watch.
The world to him, entire thing is National Geographic. It's his own National Geographic special. He's fascinated by all the science and it's all intellectual to him, but he also likes to watch the animals do it. So that's just Phlox. I mean, it's natural curiosities.
Well, they don't have a holodeck either, so they can't go, use the holodeck.
You got to do it like in real life, huh?
Well, yeah, that's true. There was no holodeck technology yet.
You have to do it actual.
Mm-hmm.
He also liked potatoes. I like potatoes too.
Well, I can see Phlox now going into the holodeck. Caligula movie orgy scene.
×6 multiplier. What?
Oh my God. Seriously.
Big time.
Now, was this one where they're also, this section, Heather, is when they're trying to get the targeting done?
Yeah, they do the targeting.
Yeah, when they're sitting there trying to do targeting. And I was like, oh my God, they're playing Tempest.
I was like, they need to put more quarters in that sucker. That's how you get to go. And you got to get more quarters in it, get more credits. Then you can get the targeting more aligned.
We need to give him something to blow up. We have anything to blow up?
Gotcha, a worm.
And they stop. And it's like, okay, let's go hit an asteroid or something.
Yeah.
These poor rocks in the middle of space, minding their own business. And these photon torpedo just flies right by. Like, what the hell?
And then he clips it. And then he clips the freaking thing and it makes a U-turn.
And then it makes a big boom. And it's like, what the hell? The asteroid's like, I'm just trying minding my own business. And it's like the 4th of July over here. What happened?
Oh my God. It's the equivalent of someone going out to a shooting range for target practice and shooting themselves in the foot.
It's like playing Dungeons and Dragons. And you go, I'm going to hit that asteroid, the photon torpedo. Roll a 20. What did you get? I got a 1.
Oh.
Yeah.
The torpedo hits the rock and then comes back at your ship. What do? Oh
yes.
my God, where's the explosion button? What can it stop it?
I love the comparisons to submarine movies. I mean, this was like that moment in Hunt for Red October where they launched the torpedo and they turn the safeties off and it misses the initial target and it turns around and it's just the entire scene keeps going and all of a sudden, what's that sound? You've killed us, you dummy. And then they get blown up by their own torpedo, which is, that almost happened. It was just kind of like, no, turn it off, kill it, self-destruct it, please.
It was funny. And then he was so upset that they couldn't find it. He said, don't worry, I'll find you more rocks.
That was funny.
I had a bit of comedy just right at the beginning. It kind of related to real life. Archer's on his hands and knees trying to find this random squeak in his quarters. It's just like driving up the walls. Like, I can't find the squeak. It just happens. It's like somebody hit one of those smoke detectors that they didn't change the battery on and it beeps once in a while. And you can't figure out which one is doing it. And you have like 7 in the room. It's like, come on, what's up with this? I had an experience this the other day where I had I added a backup power unit to my computer system. And I started hearing this random high-pitched sound and I couldn't figure out where it was coming from. I figured it was related to adding the power supply unit because that was the only thing that changed, but it was driving me crazy. I'm like putting my ear to the equipment and turning things off, unplugging things, trying to figure out what it was. And I finally figured it out. It was coming out of my damn speaker because of one of the cables. But it's that kind of feeling that if you've ever heard this random noise, it's driving you insane and you can't figure it out. I completely relate to that.
Dude, that was just like Edgar Allan Poe, Tale of Heart, I think it is, where the heart is underneath the baseboards and it keeps beating and he's the only one that hears it and he tears up the floorboard. Yep. Yeah. I'm going to tear up the floorboard until I get to the noise. I'm like, oh, Edgar Allan Poe right there.
I was looking at the notes in Memory Alpha, one of the production notes. Apparently there's an outtake with Scott Bakula kneel down on the ground. And he's like, something's squeaking. I think it's coming from underneath the deck plating, but every time I get close to it, I have to start the scene over. because he forgot the line. and Jolene Blaylock's in the scene and she just cracks up laughing. I can only imagine that kind of hilarity. It was like ruined, productivity for the next 2 minutes because of giggling over. He couldn't. It was like, that's hilarious.
They had a website. The company is now just merged with GameStop, but it was ThinkGeek, and they had an item called an Annoy-a-Tron, which was about the size of a quarter, and all it did was made random noises every 2 to 5 minutes.
I had a coworker.
Yes.
I had a coworker left one of those somewhere. Oh my God! We all knew it was in the office because he did it for a while. But when he did me, it was like, okay, funny. That's really funny. Okay, let's get this out of here real quick. I'm trying to do work.
If you want to prank someone, you could buy one of those where it has a little sticky thing behind it, and you could place it like up and behind a piece of furniture or a table or something. And at random times of the day, at random intervals, and all this stuff, it makes like spooky sounds. Or
they had two of them.
Yeah, and you can adjust it. You can have it be like the ghost. You can have it be like a mouse or something, and it makes like mouse noises. You can have and you put it in your friend's house, and then it goes off at random times, and it makes them go freaking crazy. And it's this like prank thing.
How many of these did you buy, and how many do you have left?
Actually, I had 2 of them, and I did it to a person I used to support. One of them I put in his room. It was a magnet. So your idea is great, Heather, because they actually had one, but you can do it as a magnet. And every 2 to 5 minutes, it would do a beep. And he used to be in his office with his door closed. And finally he came out and says, Nathan, something in my office is beeping and I couldn't find it. It's driving me nuts. And I go, what? And I walked in and he goes, I don't hear anything. He goes, it's in here. I says, I don't hear anything. And then you hear some go, he goes, that's it. And I says, oh man, it sounds like your monitor is dying. I'll buy you a new one at the end of the day. And I finally confessed what it was, and he laughed and he went and ordered about 5 of them.
Oh, that's awesome.
They came out with a new one that had your idea, Heather, where it just said random whispers.
Yeah, it's like a ghost.
Yep. It would do like, hey, can you hear me?
That's great.
And then 2-3 minutes later, it's like, help me.
Yes. Yes. And there's one where it's like it's a child's voice and it says to help me. And it's like really quiet and
There's nothing
faint.
creepier than a children's voice saying creepy shit.
Dude, it was so creepy.
It's like Resident Evil, or the computer voice in Resident Evil was a freaking English baby. It was like, oh my God.
Yeah, I personally think Hoshi did that to Archer because she has sharp hearing, and she went into his quarters and didn't hear anything.
Yeah, that's true.
And he's on his knees searching everywhere and couldn't find it.
I tell you, there's advantages to listening to too much rock radio or loud music in general growing up because you lose the high end of the spectrum. Going deaf is not a joke. I mean, seriously, this is bad. But, these things, if they play the high pitched sounds, you're completely oblivious to them. Drives people with good hearing absolutely insane.
Yeah, and you won't be able to hear the mosquitoes anymore.
Yeah. Or like that old monitor. You guys remember when there were actual tubes in monitors? They make that high-pitched noise. It was the worst.
What, the inner tubes?
The inner tube.
Or when you turn the TV off.
Yeah, it was always a little high-pitched sound. Just right in your soul.
Was that in the 50s?
That was back in the 50s. Back in the 1850s when they had black and white televisions. And they used to warn you if you mess with it, you might get shocked and it'll kill you. That kind of thing. Yeah.
With the rabbit ears.
In the old days, you turned the TV off, and if you were in a dark room, the screen would go to a dot light in the middle of the screen.
That's weird.
It would just sit there for, like you'd sit there and stare at it for 3 minutes and it would be a little dot in the screen. It would just take forever to turn off.
Weird.
Yeah, very cool.
Okay, so it really upset me when Archer was like, oh, look, there's this like spaceship and there's people in there and we're going to freaking break and entering and go in there uninvited and just be like, hey, what's up? And I'm like, what the hell is wrong with you?
The very first thing he does is he opens up and it's just not just a simple hail, but he says, hi. Oh, hi, we're from Earth. Here's a map to where we live. It's the pretty blue planet. Come over and kill us.
Yes.
Take our women and conquer our planet. That's what we're here for. So Archer, what the fuck are you doing? You just don't come up and say, hey, I live over there. What the hell? Anyway, that's like the stranger danger or something for me. It's just like, man.
He knew there might be some danger because when they went over there, they put the pistols on them. So there was he knew in his head there was some danger and he still did that.
Well, the thing that got me is they're looking at it and going, well, gosh, that docking port's all blown to hell. Let's look for another one. Archer looked for another one. He found the other one. He went right for it. He went for the back door. He went in their back door.
He went in through the back door.
Yeah. No wonder T'Pol was super annoyed. She was so annoyed right there. I was like, she's a Vulcan. It's like, are Vulcans supposed to be that annoyed? I mean, she was really pissed.
She's annoyed because she knows going through the back door is painful.
Right. It's not something you do right away when you first meet somebody.
Right. Now, when they walked in and everything, I'm surprised because if someone's going to break into my spaceship or my house, dude, okay, like there would be shotguns. There would be, like you're not breaking into my place, into my house without like a fight. And he's just like, oh, we'll go and we'll break in and we'll say hi and we'll be best friends.
We're all one big friendly galaxy.
Like, no.
Best intentions,
No.
We just want to see why they're not picking up the phone. Like, hey, you guys here? You guys here? Knock,
Maybe
knock,
they're
knock,
having
knock.
sex. Leave them the hell alone.
Right. That's why they should have brought Phlox the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously. But then he's doing what he's all excited. Archer is kind of like a kid. He's like, there's an empty ship. We need to go look. And it's like the hole's been blown out. They've been attacked. Let's go look.
Yeah. Like, oh, look, danger. Let's go towards it.
Yeah, T'Pol is like the cautious friend that always say, like, I don't think you should mix those two drinks. Shut up, live a little. No, honestly, have it clear and rum don't mix. No, yes, they do.
Don't put that Mentos in that Coke.
YOLO, bitches, come on.
Come on, let's do it. It's just like Kirk. Spock's like, Captain, don't do the thing. Kirk is like, I'm going to do the thing.
Yes, totally.
Well, I mean, they've been locked up in the ship for only 2 weeks and nothing, aside from the Sluggo, nothing has been found. They've been driving themselves crazy in the ship for 2 weeks. Do you guys remember back in the beginnings of pandemic life, how long 2 weeks used to be? Do you remember how freaking crazed everybody was just after 2 weeks?
Yep, isolation.
Doesn't that blow your mind? It's like 2 weeks. What do you guys are a bunch of bitches. What's wrong with 2 weeks? We could do 2 weeks in a heartbeat.
Seriously, even in Total Recall, it was how long you going to be on Earth? 2 weeks. But it was, you got to give them credit. They wanted to find out what was going on.
Okay, so the brand new starship and the targeting scanners are out of whack. I'm like, dude, you paid this much for a starship and it can't even target correctly? Stick that sucker back in the box, send it back to Amazon and get a refund.
Well, that was the first ship, right? That was like their first ship ever.
Nobody tried the targeting? I mean, were they afraid they were going to bounce something off the moon? I mean, that's probably what it was. They probably were afraid to try it because it was off by like 0.02%.
I know.
It was off by how many microns? I think they mentioned later how many microns that was. That your targeting scanners could be 0.5 microns. That's like, isn't a hair like a micron?
So basically what they did was they're like, we're going to send our new ship out to space with who knows what assassins are after this Klingon that we're carrying in the first episode. Right. And we're going to send this ship out with no targeting system.
And now we haven't figured out the targeting scanners. It's like, hello.
Yeah, but in their defense, it was the targeting scanners were really just for the torpedoes.
I mean, they were going for the Joyride.
Oh, okay.
They were doing the drag step run. They were just like, okay, let's get the sucker up to warp 5 and do a U-turn kind of run. And we weren't ready to go full battle sequences.
Donuts.
Exactly.
They were doing shakedown crews.
Yeah.
On the shakedown, you find all the stuff is wrong and you do your best to try to fix it. And that's what they were trying to do.
I really want to see a starship do donuts.
Well, we've seen that with the donut maneuver in Discovery.
Well,
Detmer had the donut maneuver.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Wasn't quite donuts like crazy, sideshow donuts.
Right. Act 2. Don't break into Dahmer's house. Archer must deal with the boring logistics first, like employees asking to be put on or taken off assignment, in which all requests were declined. Then he gets busy with breaking and entering just to find out that a serial killer arrived first. Let's slowly back away and get out of here.
Slowly back away. Technically, is it breaking and entering because he used the door handle? He used the door handle. He didn't break anything. He actually used the door handle.
That's still breaking and entering.
Oh, okay.
Even if you use the front door, it's still breaking and entering.
They left it wide open. They just, well, not wide open, but they opened it. And yeah, you lock your doors, kids.
They're lucky a space police didn't come by at that time, because if that dude saw him with all those dead people, oh my God.
And he went in the back door.
And he went in the back door, yeah.
It reminded me a little bit of the old style horror video games where you get in and you can barely see anything and you have to have the flashlight.
Oh, the
and
lighting.
You're looking around. The lighting was really dark and moving around. And then all of a sudden, Hoshi discovers what's going on and then she freaks and screams. Like that's kind of like a natural reaction. You get like upside down aliens. You left Earth and you've never seen it before. And so she freaked. It scared her.
That was so
She's
funny.
It was
great. I don't want to
great.
be here. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here.
I love that about Hoshi. She's the average ordinary, well, not average, but she's the ordinary person that just kind of, you put a real person in the situation like, oh shit, we're in space.
Yeah.
Oh shit, we're on an alien ship. Oh shit, there are no lights on in here. What the hell happened to the crew? Oh shit,
people.
Look at the blood. We got blood everywhere. Somebody call for backup. We got a blood splat on the floor. They're like, no, we just keep going.
I see dead people.
And then they get into the room with the fancy, eerie pumping machine. And this is like, oh, that's kind of weird and strange and sciencey. And she looks up and sees, 15 dead people hanging from hooks. Like, ah!
She screamed like a 12-year-old.
Yeah, as you should. I mean, that's kind of unusual. You're just you're just a language expert. You're not trained for this shit. I mean, come on. I am empathetic towards Hoshi a little bit.
Yeah, well, she, like you said, she freaked out, and I don't blame her. You get these things, and they're hooked up to pumps also.
Yeah.
And it's like, what the hell? So they had no idea what was going on.
They really should have brought a couple different, people when he came to visit. I mean, they really should have brought the doctors usually always come along, so they should have brought Phlox. I mean, it's like a learning curve, right? And they should have brought the engineer, although I think Archer's actually a pretty good engineer by himself because he's the original Starship hot rod guy. He likes the Starship engines. His father made the engine. So, I mean, Archer is like into the engineering side of things. So even though Trip really wanted to go along, he's like, no, you should stay back on our ship and make sure the engine still works because it's kind of still breaking in new,
Now, I was reading Memory Alpha and they said that there were a couple deleted scenes that you could see on the DVD. And one of those was Trip actually went over there to do engineering stuff.
I think they had one, but they did it later, I think, because he does go in the next act. He eventually does get on the ship. And there was a deleted scene they cut out of there.
Okay.
But that's when they go back and they tell T'Pol what's going on. And T'Pol is like, run away.
Yes. Run away.
Let's get the fuck out of here.
And surprisingly, Archer agrees with her at first. But then he kind of stews. Like
he does. And they actually flew away at Warp 3 for quite a bit. And then they had to turn around and come back because it was really bugging Archer.
Yeah. And he's like, well, come on. We're left people. If those were Vulcans, would you want to leave them behind?
She's like, we wouldn't have gone there in the first place.
It's like, shut up. That's not the point.
Oh, yeah. The other aspect of the natural reaction to the situation, Hoshi being scared and, claustrophobic in the environmental suit. Malcolm was armed to the teeth. He's got all these big ass rifles ready to go. And they got the hand pistols. And there's like, you're not going to need those. It's just a little visit to these people. Every sci-fi thing that I've grown up with, you've got to have weapons in space, right? You got to be ready to defend yourself against the space aliens. That's just kind of a natural thing, right?
Well, just like in the movie Serenity, when Jane is like, don't bring the grenades, Jane. It's like, oh, come on, Mal, don't bring the grenades. Then the Reapers come. It's like, I sure wish I had some grenades.
Yeah, exactly. Really has some grenades right now. Yeah. Oh, yeah. See? Yeah, exactly. It doesn't hurt to be overarmed in space. And I was thinking about relating this to real modern day life, or at least fairly recent modern day life. There actually is guns in space. They have guns up in the space stations. The Russians were known to do this first. They had a weapon called a TP-82. And the reason they had it in space.
In real life?
In real life. The Soviets had a freaking pistol.
Are you kidding me?
It's triple barreled. So it has two like shotgun style rounds and a regular like a AK-47 round in it. So you got some firepower and it had a handle on it that you could pull off. And it was also a machete. And the reason they had this kind of shit.
Oh my God.
It wasn't for space aliens. It was for when they landed back on Earth, their space capsule, the Soyuz would land somewhere in the planet somewhere, maybe in the forest. And literally they were afraid of the bears. The wildlife would come by and attack them while they're sitting there waiting for the helicopters to come. I just thought
that's what they say.
That's what they say, but it sounds pretty reasonable.
Reported.
That sounds pretty reasonable to me because, you're in a spaceship in a capsule. You just kind of land randomly in the middle of the forest. Who knows what the fuck's going on in the forest? forest because the bear does shit in the woods, right?
Dude, it's not reasonable because if I was going up to the space station and, there's all Russians up. I mean, that's how we get up there is with the Russian rockets. When we go up there, there's usually like a Russian there. There's usually, someone from another country there. Yeah. It's like, the International Space Station. And I would not feel comfortable knowing that my Russian counterpart is the only one up there with a freaking gun and a machete.
Well, it's really up for everybody. They don't lock it up. That's like everybody knows where it's stored. It's right there, accessible when they need it.
That makes me feel even less safe.
Well, I imagine the crew that was on there, they didn't have anything with them, or else they wouldn't have been like taken over so damn quick. You got
to have self-defense weaponry in space. It's kind
any weaponry in space isn't good. No, just no.
What
just
if the aliens come?
Peace, happiness,
What if somebody knocks up on your back door and comes in without asking?
All they want is sex.
Well, apparently you might be right because they were sucking them out of juices.
Yeah.
They just want a quick ass probe.
Well, there's probing. They do some probing later.
Right? There's no need for gun violence for that.
It's like Independence Day. They did butt things.
They did butt things. Exactly.
My goodness.
But he left and he felt guilty about it. And you can see Archer was really stewing. He was really upset about the whole situation.
He really felt about it. And even the Vulcan says your intentions were admirable. I mean, but don't put your own crew in jeopardy by going back there. She's like, we still don't need to go back there. The other thing about this was they get back and the first thing she asked was how many of them were there? And they're like, he was like, there was 12. And then the other one's like, no, there's about 15 actually. Nobody brought a camera. Nobody took any pictures. Nobody documented any of this. This
good point.
Somebody should have brought a fucking iPhone and snapped some photos, right?
Oh my God, good point.
Why didn't anybody take pictures of this crazy spaceship we've never seen before in our life?
By then, they should have Google glasses. They should be like, click, click, click. I'm recording the whole thing on my Google glasses.
Well, it should have been built into their eye retinas or whatever.
Oh, live
transmission. True. I've been watching Black Mirror, so I've been seeing some of these episodes where they can spy on you from your own eyeballs.
And it's 100 years from now, so maybe.
Yeah.
That was a weird episode. But they did not have anything to record. And so you sit there and you're like, what the hell? They were scared. And poor Hoshi is like, translated. I don't know. Translated. I don't know.
I really enjoyed Hoshi's, I don't know if it was an arc so much, but how she got through this episode and into the future. I just love that. You took the one person and you freaked her out. I mean, like half dozen dead bodies hanging from the ceiling freak anybody out. I'd be freaked out. I mean, one body would freak me out, let alone 15. So I love how she could, come through and, redeem herself at the end of this and become stronger.
And just the fact that they focused on her, that they spent the third episode focusing on her and her story arc and her getting through this and her experience, that was awesome.
Oh, yeah. You know what I also liked about this little thing I noticed that I don't usually see in Star Trek? I mean, she is the communications officer, but when they're about to enter, she actually radios back to the Enterprise saying, okay, we're opening the door. We're going in now. She's literally doing the play-by-play while they're there. And I thought, wait, that's communication officer doing communication stuff. I thought that was cool. It's like, maybe we should just see more of this happening because that's kind of what they do, right? Communications officers relay back. It's like, here's what's going on. They never do that. We just get checked in once in a while. I just thought that was like, oh, wow, that's cool. She's actually doing the communications thing.
That is cool.
Yeah.
And when she is sitting at the bridge doing her work, did you notice that she has a big earpiece in her ear that's almost similar to what Uhura was using for the original series?
Or your earpods that you have nowadays.
Yep. It just wasn't jutting out as far.
Yeah. You know what? We need more bass in those things. So if I would wear a bigger one if I got more bass out of it. And battery life.
And don't forget, Archer was also, he in a way is a good commander that you hate in the beginning, or a good officer, because Hoshi's like, I could do this on the ship. And he's like, you're going to go. It's like, but spaceships, spacesuits make me sick. And how did you pass? Well, I sucked it up. Well, you're going to suck it up now.
Yes. She bit her lip and you're going to have to bite that sucker now.
Yeah, you're going to have to go again. So that's a mark of a good officer, is trying to judge just how much a crew member can take and make them go past that point.
But the lag time is 3 times as long. The lag time would drive me up the wall.
Yeah, but she sat there and kept trying to figure it out on the ship about doing the distress call.
Act 3, regrets. Hoshi is having second thoughts of being an astronaut and wants to go back home. She's going to try and find her slug a suitable home instead. During dinner, Archer and T'Pol get in an argument about proper human conduct, and Archer decides to go back to the Ship of Death to see if they could find out what happened and possibly notify the crew's families. After returning to the ship, Hoshi deciphers their language. The Doctor figures out that the aliens' triglobulin is being extracted from them, and then out of nowhere, another ship appears. It must be the same people who killed the crew. Look out!
This is the first time we had a bad we never saw.
And that's the worst kind. That's the worst kind, because if you guys remember Jaws, that was what it was all about, was the shark you didn't see, because that made it much more scary, because you couldn't see it until, you got glimpses maybe, but you can't actually see it. It's actually more frightening.
No, we didn't see who this alien was. I mean, the ship shows up. It's bigger than the Enterprise.
It's a big, bug-looking ship. It looked like a thing that was ready to grab you the second it flew into the screen. It was a badass design. I don't think we ever saw them again.
No, and they had a powerful scanner.
Yeah.
And the scanner was like, we're being scanned. No doubt we have some stuff in their blood that they'll find desirable.
The Doctor's like, we've all been probed.
You've been probed. I've been probed. Hey, it's a probe party.
It's like,
Can I watch?
They're alien tweakers.
Wow. Alien tweakers. Right. Nobody likes those guys.
And it's like, seriously. So there's a little things that I have with this section.
It's about being probed without asking. That's what this episode's about. It's like being probed without asking, right?
Seriously.
Okay, maybe it's a subplot. I don't know.
It's all about consent.
Hoshi should say, not too gambit.
It's not without my permission. Think of that poor slug that was taken from its home without being asked.
Yeah, just picked up and taken.
Yeah.
And then it comes there and it's like, what's going on? It's like, this ship, it's going to attack us. And then they don't know what a tractor beam is because they get tractored.
It's like, yeah, you think you're fancy with those grapplers. let's show you this thing. Beam.
Yeah, let's go ahead and fire the torpedo. Okay, you need a 12 to hit. What'd you roll? A 3.
That fucker bounced off like it was a speck. I mean, it just went boink.
It's like, okay, what do I need? Let me roll again. All right, roll again. What I need to
hit? You got a 2 that time. They blew it out of the air. They blew it out of space before it even got there the second time. I just like, oh shit, we are so fucked right now.
Oh, no.
Should we go into the next section? Because I think that's
are
the
we
next
skipping
section.
ahead? I'm sorry. I'm going off my script.
Oh, sorry.
So quick little notes. Okay, Hoshi realizes, I love the scene with her in the dock because they're talking about the worm, but they're actually talking about her. Yeah. She's realizing she's actually the one that's qualified and she is needed, even though she would rather be teaching back at home. I mean, that was much more fulfilling and safe and happy. And let's go teach some students some things. There are those that do and those that teach. And it's like, it's easier to be the ones that teach. I mean, that's just a fact of life. And it feels good to teach. But she's qualified and she is really needed because there are not that many translators out there. And they're going to need a translator. So she knows that as much as it's making her uncomfortable right now, this is her place to be.
And she was scared. She's definitely was, scared. She's sitting there and she's like, I don't want to be here. Space is, like T'Pol says, space is big.
Yeah. And it's full of all kinds of crazy shit, like people hanging that are dead. That's not fun.
Scary, crazy shit.
Yeah. My other note was they get to the ship and they're deciphering the message left running. They turn the sucker on and the message left running. And the first thought I had, maybe it's their laundry list or it's their instructions on how to take over the universe. No, it's their web browser history. They forgot to delete it. Delete the history in your browser.
Seriously.
Oh my God. All kinds of the crazy freaky shit the aliens left up on their browsers. This is so embarrassing.
What does that mean, Hoshi? Something called YouPorn, Captain.
Oh my goodness. That would be hilarious. It's like, what are they saying? Ship in distress? No, they're saying, let's get some on, baby.
It's like, wait a minute. Why did they have that? It's like, actually, it's our fault. How was that? We sent them nudes first on that satellite.
Yeah. We got the aphrodisiac gland right here, There
was a little meme that had that. I thought it was funny. I might have mentioned this before. They showed NASA sitting around computers and it goes, we just got communication with another species, with another alien civilization. What does it say? It says send more nudes. And then it cuts to aliens sitting around a computer and they're all looking at the screen and the other one tells the other one, hit refresh.
It's like turning on the Galactic Space Telescope to listen to the aliens, and all you get was ASL.
I think it was funny. ASL, really?
That's old school chat right there. Before there was iPhones and Tinder.
Yep.
That's how you flirted in chat room.
Yep. Or do you want to go private? That was the other way.
Yeah. You want to IM me?
Yeah.
Or DM me? They say DM now. Back in the day, it was IM.
Yep. It was IM. So did we miss anything in this section, Heather?
I think we're ready for the next section.
Yeah, it was a quick section, but it moved it along.
Yeah, it was.
And also the thing about Archer, really, this is where he kind of turned around when they were having that dinner with DePaul and Trip, realized, this was a crew. They were in uniform. They're dead now and hanging like cows in their ship. I mean, that's the moment where it happened in this scene.
Okay, so Act 4. First alien contact. The Enterprise's first space fight has begun. Too bad they never got the targeting system aligned. When all seems lost, another ship appears, and thanks to Hoshi's amazing translating skills, the Enterprise is able to ask for help. The two ships team up and successfully kick the enemy's ass. The Enterprise just made a new friend. Afterwards, Hoshi and the Doctor take the Slug to a new planet, which is now his new home, where he can thrive and succeed in becoming a new invasive species that will eventually wipe out half of the native population.
Oops.
No, it actually winds up becoming trance worms.
Right.
Yeah, it becomes
Exactly.
a transform. Exactly.
Sluggo grows up.
Yeah, it was just a baby. They didn't realize it.
It becomes a trance worm 1,000 years in the future.
Oh, I love it.
The thing that bothered me about this section is that not only did the Enterprise, of course, get captured really easy, that because of technology differences is very apparent. However, you have this other ship that shows up in the nick of time, and they automatically assume that the Enterprise did it. And you have this big ship that's there, and Hoshi is freaking out. Looks like she's going to piss herself because she can't figure out the language right off the bat. And the translator is not finding the right word. They're being sucked up with this ship, and the guy's getting ready to bore into the hull to take it over. So it is like, what the hell? Why couldn't this other ship determine that these guys didn't do it?
It's all about the language, the communication issues. It's if you don't know what you're saying when you're saying it, you might say the wrong thing. And that's like the biggest fear of trying to learn how to speak another language is, what if I say the wrong thing? What if I'm asking for, where the bathroom is and you ended up asking for, getting it in the butt? I mean, whoops, I'm sorry, I used the wrong verb somewhere along the line here. That's not right.
Another way to put it too is, have you ever played the game Among Us? Because that's exactly what it is. You got one person is the person that did it, and two people trying to figure out, okay, is it me? Is it them? Is it that person? Okay, we're going to gain up and we're going to say it's you. And we guessed correctly.
Yeah, and you can't, communicate. Like, no, it wasn't me. I was like, I'm trying to say it wasn't me, but they can't hear you. It's like you cannot get the communications.
If you play that video game, you look at the chat, some of those people, I swear to God, they type like A, F, G, D, F, J, G, and I'm like, what the hell are you doing? You literally cannot talk.
The gibberish that comes at you, yeah.
I've never played that game.
Oh, it's so much fun.
It's a fun game to play with friends.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I haven't done that one yet.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Yeah, but the aliens, they get there, and Hoshi is having a conniption fit trying to translate.
And the computer's not helping her, no.
No, and Archer's not helping her either because he's like 2 inches away from her face. Say it!
And she's like, I don't know how to say the word pump. I need to say pump, and I can't figure out how to say pump. And I'm like, didn't you get that Aerosmith album? It was called Pump.
It's like, seriously, or better, or you get Trip come over and says, here, I'll help you. Pump up the jam. Pump it. Just pump up the jam.
Get pumped, get pumped, get pumped, get pumped. Yeah.
But finally, when it gets through, and plus, I don't know about this other alien that came there because they see that the ship is being attacked by whoever
they're about to get drilled into. They're watching
and
that.
He's like, yeah, whatever. Just kill these people. I don't know.
It's like watching a bug getting attacked by a spider and it's screaming for help. I mean, that is like the worst sound I've ever heard in a long time is when a fly is stuck in a web and it's trying to buzz its way out. It can't flap its wings because it's stuck. And it just keps going on and on. It's like, ah! the entire time. And the spider's like taking its time. It's so painful to hear that distress. And so you come up upon this, they're stuck in the not a web, but they're stuck from this alien ship and they're like crying out for help. And I'm like, I can't understand you. Could you like say a word in English? I can't understand. It goes, bzzz. It's like, no, I don't understand what you're saying. Can you say like, oh, you mean you killed my people? Oh, bzzz. Well, no, that's not. Sorry, guys. You're just gonna sit here and watch while you scream for help. It felt a little like, can't you see the bullies picking on the little guy over here, but didn't do anything.
No. And it's obvious. And then when they did decide to do something, when Hoshi got it right and it clicked for her because she got really fluent towards the end and then she was able to do it and the ship turned around and just basically a couple of hits and it was able to disable it.
Yeah. It's like, oh gosh, you could have done it that easily. Thanks a lot, buddy.
So that other ship that he attacked, whatever this alien creature was that attacked, had to be just a regular cargo ship with no way to defend itself or anything. Because if they were able to take out...
It was really cool looking cargo ship.
Yeah, it was. So it was definitely an interesting show. And then, of course, Hoshi gets her new confidence.
Confidence was what this episode was really all about. It's about having confidence in your own ability. So for Hoshi, it's obvious she has the skill set. She knows how to use it. She just needs the confidence to do it. And the same thing
I thought this episode was all about don't breaking into like a Dahmer's house.
Well, that's my subplot is the don't go in the back door without permission is the other.
Don't break and entering.
No.
Leave people's houses alone.
But confidence in your own ability is the way you succeed. And Malcolm's the same thing. He's got the technology. He's got the torpedoes. It was only off by a couple little microns. Amazing how much of a couple little microns make a distance when you're trying to shoot at a ship from here to over there. But it makes a difference. And once he has confidence in his equipment working correctly, he can defend himself. Also, it kind of helped that their shields were down. But yeah, I think that's a theme in this episode. Confidence in your own ability to do something. It's something that you see normally in the Starfleet. And we're still kind of at the beginnings of, they're technically not really Starfleet yet. They're just a couple of ships, right?
It also shows that in order for you to get your targeting scanners right, you got to get tractored because apparently it pulled something into alignment.
Maybe that's what it was. Yeah.
Because right after that, all of a sudden he looked up. It's like, we're aligned.
Yeah, all of a sudden it works. Okay. Fire. Yeah. You got to be able to, you got to take a couple shots to get it to line up right. It doesn't, you got to, sometimes it takes a couple tries to get going, right?
Yeah. And it took a couple of times, but they got it, but it took them a long time to get from there
to here.
Oh, God. I hate
nice.
You guys.
Very nice, sir. Very nice.
And you wonder why I have that song stuck in my head.
You know what's weird is when you get to the end of this episode and you hear the credits music. That's weird because every time I watched the show when it was broadcast, they did the squeeze back and promo the next show. You never heard the music that was played at the end of the show. It was very strange to hear this music. I've heard it before now because I've watched it since the original airing at least once. But when I started to hear this, I was like, really? That's the music they play at the end? It doesn't even sound like the end of the last one had an instrumental version of the music we all hate, but this was different. This is a different theme. It's like its own little Enterprise theme. And I'm like, where the hell did this come from? Because I've never heard this before. And then when I was watching the previous week, couple weeks ago episode where they're doing the look at the Enterprise, they're doing the first shuttle pod tour of the Enterprise when it's in dry dock, they actually had a little bit of that theme in there. I'm like, oh, that's where they got that theme from. I just never realized that was the theme there. But the in credit music was like, why is this easy listening on hold music playing? It was so unusual to me because we're used to the big badass marchy sounding da 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 kind of sound, and Enterprise totally took a different direction. Even Voyager had a little da 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 we didn't have the da 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 kind of sound to Enterprise.
I guess they wanted to show that since it's the beginning of the whole series and everything, they wanted to show no marching yet because we're kind of like cruising out into space out there.
That's confidence. We're not confident in our musical ability to come out and march.
No.
We're just kind of easy listening out into space, I don't know.
And we're just heading out, gonna go like balls out. I'm heading out there. I'm doing it. So it was a good episode. It's beginning to set. Paul is still a little annoying. They skipped the soft porn scene with the decontamination.
Well, it was a different, you don't have as much soft porn in a horror movie. I mean, you have some.
Well, that's true.
You have some usually, but not like that. This was the horror movie aspect. The lights were off. The things were gritty and grungy looking. I loved that.
Wasn't the Archer and the Doctor with her? So that doesn't exactly like make for a sexy scene.
Well, the Doctor was more pervy, so it wasn't quite the sensual.
The Doctor's like, I'll watch you guys. You can't.
Yeah, it wasn't the right feeling for that one. But
in the corner and watch.
But I loved how they did the lights off. The set design they had just a bunch of metal frames everywhere, but they turned the lights off and put them in the right places and moved the camera around. They got that spooky vibe feeling right off the bat.
Really easy. Yeah,
it was really cool.
Really easy.
And then bodies hanging from the ceiling.
And I'd like to say, if Heather was Hoshi at that point, she wouldn't have screamed. She would have just turned around and punched the corpse and yelled, "What the fuck?"
Why are you dead?
I probably would have held my nose and been like, "Oh my God, the smell."
It's like, what the hell? So Heather is not your typical what people would think a science officer would be in that respect. She's not one of those like, "Oh my God, I am so sensitive and offended." She would be like, "What the fuck is that? Kill it."
Yeah, basically. Nah. Yeah, if you're thinking of the woman who like sees a rat and she screams and jumps up on a chair, I'd be like, "No, hey, a rat, let me go kill it so I can feed it to Shiva."
Yes, you gotta feed the snake.
Yeah.
It's like, well, Heather, why are you wearing those spiked heels? Does it make your legs look sexy? No, it's to kill it.
Stop you! Yes.
Spiked heels are great to go through a temple. It's like, what the hell?
Like, watch out for the kick.
You just got to watch out for the metal grates. You don't want to walk in those. Well, they didn't have so much metal grating on that ship. I didn't look like, but
if you've ever walked in high heels, you know that you walk with your toes and not your heel.
Oh, is that how it works? See,
yep.
I admit I've never tried on high heels. So
I don't know.
Patrick would have probably pointed this out to me.
Yeah, he might have. Yeah, no, I don't know. Oh, apparently they were able to extract the tribbles.
Oh,
they said they had a difficult time because apparently there was enough Cheeto dust that a couple of the Cheetos were giving birth while they were trapped on his crotch.
Whoa. So were they alive?
The babies were. I haven't got a full report. I got to read it once we're. Oh, I said personal information in the clear again.
Are Cheetos sentient?
I don't know, but somebody said that the new tribbles are like Cheeto dust colored. So we got hard tribbles.
After seeing their parents stuck up in the ceiling with that white stuff, I was worried they didn't survive that. I'm glad the babies survived.
That's a good thing. At least they survived. And I'm going to send a message for them to bring the tribbles back. So Heather, you're going to have orange tribbles to play with.
Nice. I'll dye their hair yellow and style it a certain way.
Oh, I like the other one you gave. You gave a mohawk with spikes in it.
Yes.
That was pretty cool.
Mohawk Tribble's cool.
Yeah. This was another good episode. Don't forget, next week we're going to be going on episode 4.
Okay, hold on. The numbering system is all screwed up right now.
Nope, this is 3.
So this one said it was 3, but it was episode 2 in Netflix.
Oh.
Netflix said this one was 3 because I watched the Netflix one too.
Are you sure?
Yeah, so the first episode, they split it up into 2 parts. So it was episode 1, episode 2.
But
this is 3.
But if you look under the thing on the net, it looked like it was 2.
I will bet you money. You want to bet some money?
God, I don't have any money.
This is Starfleet. We don't use money.
Yeah, that's right. We don't use memory.
Right. I'll bet you. Wait, I don't want replicator credits. Never mind.
I got replicator ashes like crazy.
I don't want to eat shit.
I got all this kind of shit over here.
All right, let's do it this way then. In order to give it, we look official at the episode guideline. The next one is episode 4, Strange New World. Mm-hmm. The one we just saw was Fight or Flight. So you guys want to be able to see it. Make sure for next week we're going to do Strange New World. It's going to be directed by David Livingston, and it's a story by Rick Berman and Brandon Braga. And the original air date was October 10th, 2001. And it did pretty decent. It had 7.8 million viewers in the U.S. So next week, we can make sure we see this episode and we'll be able to talk and listen to Heather's wonderful recap. And
where I butcher all words.
Yes. And thanks again to our normal premiere listeners. Thank you for always joining us. It is awesome. And I think I'm getting ready to go now because that coffee is calling my name and I got to fill out an accident report here on Patrick and his Tribble mishap. So
The Cheeto incident.
The Cheeto. I think that's what we're going to call it from now on. The Cheeto incident. So for all of you that are out there, please just don't have a good week, but make it so.
Starfleet Underground, beaming into a podcast feed near you. Log on to our website at starfleetunderground.com and send your comments and questions to thecollective@starfleetunderground.com. Follow us on Twitter at StarfleetUnderG and on Facebook and Instagram, we're Starfleet Underground.